Welcome back to another episode of Full Circle with me, Onyx. And, I thought we would be done with the relationship video. Turns out it's a bigger lecture, so welcome back to class. Then I realized. And I'm just kind of doing these consecutively. I kind of get an inspirational hit, and then I try to fit in these videos whenever I can. So just saying this information just hits me hard, and then I can just produce it. And you kind of have to have some area where you studied and learned for you to then express the information you get. Otherwise, it kind of just stays nebulous. So I think a good example would be someone who learns to play the piano, they learn the notes. You did that in the physical world and you became reasonably good at it. Then the universe, which we're all connected to, whatever you'd like to call it, you receive creative inspiration and you kind of download that information. And then through the skills, the abilities that you have, you get to interpret it. You get to translate it, transmit it into this world, and other people can understand it. So that's kind of how channeling or getting a download works. So I think it's trendy to say downloads and uploads, and we miss the what it means. We miss the process. It's like, oh, if I'm a so I have to first learn to draw, learn to paint, you know, become good at it, get get a skill. Then now all these images and visions and feelings can get expressed appropriately on the canvas. Now I can share that with the world. And so, gaining a skill and discipline, the chakra right above the heart. You really wouldn't think about the throat chakra being an area of discipline and skill and self control, but it is. And it gets reflected into our world with like maybe um, shackles around the arms and the necks with slavery. Um, so I think a shackle around the neck really helps you understand how easily controlled people are by the power of the word, by someone pulling your strings, using fear. And imagine, or, you know, being put in one of those things where your arms and your head are in those like wooden blocks and you're put out in public square for humiliation way back when. Uh, I almost call that like medieval times. How disempowering it is, but they put your neck in that lock, you know, or with cattle, we put the yoke around their neck, bridles, and when we think about domesticating an animal, or using an ox to plow a field way back when, they had these things around their shoulders, around their neck, and so it's not really too much of a leap to understand that the throat chakra is a power center. Um, and so we misuse that. We don't use discernment and mindfulness, the third eye, mindfulness, clarity, vision, uh, and I would definitely say clarity once again. And so the chakra system and its rich symbols without any cultural symbols put on top of it is a really great roadmap to explain the abstract, the mysteries of life, the subconscious inner worlds and universe. So I like to this is like my chakra system. Notice there's no like cultural symbols on top of it. There's no gods or goddesses. There's no Sanskrit letters. There's no real shapes. It's very simple. Um, and it does the job. Okay. Then we go to the next level, and then I've only done very basic symbols: fire, water, earth, and air. Okay. Um, and obviously that fifth element symbol, kind of, but really in this, it's the alchemist star. So we start noticing there's a relationship. Okay. That notice how they're kind of inverted. So they're like flipped, mirroring each other. Kind of like as above, so below. But then we really pay attention to the reverse. There's a whole nother part to as above, so below. Reverse, backwards, and inside out is the other half of the operation. Okay? But that's for some of you, not all of you. So, in the tree of life, they say earth or Malkuth is uh, the fruit of Kether. And so trees, fruit bearing trees, have seeds. And the fruit is good and juicy. So what was made in heaven produced a fruit, and it was earth. And we eat it, and behold, it is good. But within the fruit is a seed, which can then spring up a whole nother universe, a whole nother what we produce, what we get out of life can become fruitful and can bear fruit and last another generation. You can hand that knowledge down through time. You can plant your seeds of wisdom in others. You can plant good seeds and bad seeds, and it can grow a tree. And with that fruit, it can provide nourishment and life to others. So life can continue in like a fractal spiral through time. So the symbol of a tree is so universal, and you can extract so much meaning and understanding from that the tree of life is a beautiful symbol to superimpose on the more geometrical tree of life pattern, the Kabbalah tree. But anyways, kind of moving on. So we kind of fill in with all of my insights. We see this kind of like flip-flopped mirroring. And so heaven is basically earth, but it's of a different nature. Um, and so forth and so forth. So the second chakra of water, the third eye, we have visions, and we use the water element like the moon, like a scrying mirror, like a pool of water. We use the subconscious. So I think of the High Priestess card and I think of the moon card. The third eye is very much like the higher version of water, of the maternal instinct, gut instinct, and the primal inner knowingness, and the connectivity. So empathy versus vision, they go together. So there's a relationship. When you're really healthy physically, it allows you the opportunity to be healthy spiritually. When you have clear, healthy, clean, crisp emotions, it helps you take your empathy and turn it into intuition, and it creates a circuit. And then the fire element of self-esteem turns into self-expression. The fire element of joy and life turns into how we express that through music, art, and beauty. And so there's a circuitry going on. A lot of people are trying to access this, And whatever access they get out of this is actually usually through the lower chakras. So a strong force of will to project, a strong force usually of desire can sometimes grant visions, you know. And so sometimes a strong use of the lower chakras, you may gain temporary access, somewhat access to these. But so it's really rare to actually, I would say, for the general population, to have any real access because the circuit works both ways. It's very, I can receive a lot of shaman experiences, clairvoyant experiences, out of body experiences working my second chakra. And so kundalini energy, that basically vital life force that's been repressed due to society, social rules, when it bursts forth, it moves you up towards spirit. So the earth energy wants to move up towards spirit, and spiritual energy is always drawn like a lightning bolt to the magnetic, to the density of earth. So negativity summons energy, spiritual energy. Darkness summons light, basically. Is what you could look at it like that. So circuitry is something I really want to stress because when we start understanding circuits, energy, information, and flow in the relationships, imagine now you bring someone else over into your relationship. You're going to form circuits, and usually it's like a zipper. So your partner usually has every other chakra strong, and your weaker ones are the every other ones. So you might be attracted to someone who is wealthy, and they might be attracted to your emotional support. So the transaction is physical stability, provider energy with nurturing. So we see provider father and we see nurturer mother. And that role can be reversed. That's just an example of how a circuit works. We can see outgoing, spontaneous, fun loving, silly, creative with versus the introverted, contemplative. And so that's another circuit. We can see the someone who really has the gift of words and thought, and the other person has a really gift of analyzing, figuring things out, being receptive, a good listener. And so we find within partnerships a zipper type, a connection, a circuit. And so we start looking at relationships. Why are they truly dysfunctional? And we find out usually the circuitry isn't working right. Someone can have too much of a good thing, too much personality, too much thinking going on, worry, anxiety, too much illusions, too much garbage. Um, and so we can see too much and too little on the extreme end. And then we can simply see, uh, so I would say more in an energy of lack do we get uh, strong bonded connections, but it's because one has more of one and the other one has less than the other. So we get power dynamics going through the chakra system. Now, what's interesting is it's nobody's fault, yet we can't get to any psychological resolution. We can't heal our way there. We can't do enough energy work, it seems, or spells to make the relationship work. Are they a good person? Are they a bad person? No. Uh, you pick the wrong person. You have loyalties. You're investing in something that's not meant to be. So that's when we let nature take its course. And if you follow the flow, you leave. Um, or spend a lifetime waiting for someone, or maybe 100 lifetimes waiting for someone to clear a chakra, an energy block. And so, moving on a little bit. Hmm. Let's talk about horizontal. Now, I started using the word horizontal a long time ago because I'd be like, people seem to talk at me. People seem to reach in and grab stuff. There seems to be some type of exchange out of want and need. And there's like some type of, they might see me as a supply of energy. They might see me as something. And it's coming from a place of lack within their chakra system. And we tend to project out or pull things in, and so I say everyday people are operating in the horizontal. Your five senses, what you see is what you get. You're discounted, you're seen as an object, you're used for their inner momentary dopamine fix, and then you're thrown away. That's horizontal exchanges. You're not valued, you're not seen, you're not heard. And the conversations, I would say, really aren't that deep. When you start meditating, your energy does a flip. So we could see the warrior athlete, the the achiever. We're all moving in hustle, energy, success. Look at me, horizontal. So I think a bow and archery is great for the achiever energy. When you start meditating, your energy starts moving in the vertical plane. Okay? You're ascending and you're gaining knowledge and you're anchoring it into your body. So you're learning to work the vertical, which is you're moving through the four worlds. You're going multi-dimensional is a trendy word, which really isn't anything new. Okay? Our ancestors already knew everything about multidimensionality, the web of life, everything connected. We just have different terms. And so if we can learn to extract that ancient wisdom and apply it. So it's all here now. All paths are one. You may have different terminology, but you can learn from both sides. Okay? So as soon as you start meditating, you start to realign your energy and you start getting your needs met through the vertical. I am that. I have it. I can. I will. And so it may start with want and need, which is just fine. All questions are in a state of want and need. It's uncertainty. You don't know. Negativity attracts the positivity. The dark attracts the light. The unknown attracts the known attracts the unknown. So we're in a dynamic, a yin and yang dynamic. It just becomes toxic if you only think you can get it through the horizontal. But then it could also get toxic if you're only getting it through the vertical. So only going up and not bringing it down, you're out of balance. Horizontal only, out of balance. You have to learn to do a 90-degree twist or turn. You have to learn to do a 180 or even a 360. Okay? So there's basically two worlds going on: the world in time and the world out of time, the world of temporary and the world of eternal. Two different law systems, two different universes, yet mere reflections of each other and possibly inverted of each other. When you start thinking this way, then you become a wizard, you become an alchemist, you become a hermeticist. And I just put this in here, showing the two universes becoming one whole. The known and the you could even say the two sides of the coin, the manifest and unmanifest. The universe, I like to say universe A and universe B. Uh, but what I really love about the oval shape or the Shiva Lingam is there's two centers. That I think that's amazing. Like, I just think that's really amazing. And so basically, the whole tree of life can fit into the Shiva Lingam, and you can get all the dimensions and all the levels of progress because the Shiva Lingam represents a whole entire universe. The tree of life represents the whole universe. The tarot deck represents the whole universe. So it becomes a universal symbol of completeness and wholeness. The zodiac wheel is a symbol of wholeness and completeness. So a circle by itself can do that, but then this can as well. And it gives you a whole nother perspective. It gives you more insight. And so what going through like a mystery school would do for you, especially if you pay attention to the language of symbols, it should give you this ability to have different perspectives, different views, being able to use them as templates to overlay in your rituals. And then, so what's really important about the tree of life is when our universe was created, the tree of life pattern was used to create our universe. So you're basically using the programming language of, and so it understands what you're trying to say so much better than when you're trying to make up a symbol. Uh, so this is uh, so yeah, this is really deep stuff. You're basically getting a very informative course in Western mystery. And I would say this is the stuff that you should have learned in your Western mystery school tradition, but maybe you didn't because if you were like me, you got distracted with all the people and all the rituals and all the programs. And the fundamental stuff kind of got, you didn't know where to look. It was right in front of your face, but you didn't know where to look. So, in hindsight, letting my subconscious piece it all together and my intuition, I've brought this forward. So, if you do decide to go through a Western mystery school, or if you are playing with magic and you wish there was a grimoire, you now have the key. So, I've given you many keys throughout all my lectures. Uh, so yes, does this apply to relationships? Yes. So we learned, so accessing the vertical is really important. This ascension into the heart chakra. So I already talked about love being a really surface level word. So I like to, heart chakra. Heart is an amazing power. And so once you're active, so one reason why it's really important to have the heart there is because we saw that the two worlds meet. The higher world, the highest realms, so we think archangel, ascended master, gods, ETs, the lowest point they're ever going to reach you is at your heart. The material world, physicality, the highest point it's going to reach is the heart. So the heart is this like meeting place of balance. This meeting, well, obviously balance is beautiful, so it's symmetry. So the roots of the higher realm, the farthest they're reaching is to your heart, and the top of the trees, the highest place they're reaching, the highest point they could ever possibly go is to the heart. And we get the air element, or you could even say sky. Can't measure the sky, which is fitting because you can always reach up forever, and you can always, and from above, you could always reach down forever. Those roots can reach down, and those tree branches can reach up. So it's almost like we got two trees reaching towards each other. So yes, those trees could drop fruit and it could land on earth and be Malkuth. And that was a fall. So then you start understanding the metaphors, uh, the symbolic language of the Bible. You start understanding, oh, it's not really a story about Adam and Eve, or that it can be that also, but we really now understand the earth has fallen and it is the fruit from a tree. uh, we just maybe didn't know the tree was pointing downward. So maybe we do not. Like, we can go on and on and on. And you can gain more and more insight, more depth, more wisdom, and then that adds power and meaning and value to all your rituals, your meditations, and your spirituality. So this whole thing is, we are going vertical. Our energy is going from the root chakra. So when you can start to relate to your partner on these 7 levels of consciousness, these 7 planes, when you can stabilize yourself, when you can emotionally fulfill yourself, when you can deeply appreciate yourself and value yourself, when you get these lower 3 chakras working for you, your relationships kind of solve themselves. Then you're having conversations of love, of beauty. Then the conversations aren't out of lack. You owe me, I need this, I want that. You're already self-fulfilled. So the big part of Western Mystery School is the Adam Kadmon, the divine God being that you are. So there is a big push towards evolution, personal evolution, transformation, and so you're speeding up your own personal evolution through meditation, through Kabbalah, path working, and it can all be done actually just through meditation. Okay. So every time you play, so if you don't know that all your magical workings are kind of directed towards elevating you, making yourself a stronger tool and vessel for the divine, then you're kind of missing the point of Western mystery. And if you're into Western mystery and you're into this kind of stuff and you're with a partner that's not going that direction, you're kind of going, why? So ascension, heart awakening, Christ consciousness, whatever you'd like to call it, the timeless space is the heart chakra. Once you have that going on for you, the other chakras start balancing themselves out. So it would be like counseling someone, but they don't believe in love. Counseling someone, but they don't believe in balance. Counseling someone, and they don't believe in anything positive. Well, then you won't really get very far. So in a weird way, you have to get this heart chakra working in order for an element of positivity to magnetize the rest. Otherwise, they're just going down to low density. And we've already talked that Earth by nature is dense. And by the way the elements are stacked, they're stacked against us. Hence, meditation, spiritual energy work is required to gain the momentum, to spark the fire, and so you're like, it seems like the cards are stacked against us, but then we go back to this bow and arrow analogy, and the density of Earth and all your problems create a tension, and then boom, the arrow is released. And so a moment of crisis could do that if someone's not spiritually working. But meditation is how you learn to release the arrow, to release the bowstring, and to let it fly through surrender. And so a lot of people are doing the process in a chaotic way, in a disorganized way. They don't they're wondering if their trust and faith is out of place. They're trying to let go, but they don't understand the positive use of negativity, build it, how to build up and concentrate that momentum energy. They don't know where the target is. They don't know what they're going for. They don't know their spiritual purpose. They don't know their aim. Uh, they don't know that maybe they're training. Uh, and so, yeah, let's just wrap this all up. But basically, as I've so why meditation, like we said a little bit earlier, creates a space for you. It clears your mind like a lens. And so consciousness, your higher self, whatever you'd like to call it, that energy comes in, moves through your body. Your body is water. So when your body is still, it calms. Your emotions calms. Your thoughts calm. The healing happens automatically, and all you have to do is sit there quietly breathing. And so just by doing that alone, you start to rebalance. You shift those energies, you reorient yourself. You start going vertical, and so that everything gets clearer and cleaner, and you're cleaning the glass from inside out, outside in. It's repositioning you on the chessboard of life. You're becoming a witness, you're becoming an observer, and the calmer. And so now you see how valuable. It's weird. You're doing so much by not doing. You're working so hard by not working at all. So it's the doing of not doing. So you're really learning how to not do. It's like, don't touch it. Don't touch perfection. It's already perfect. And so the self realization happens. But this light from the other dimension, the astral light, comes to you, starts working its magic. And magic would be the unseen science. So the art of allowance, through the art of receiving, you will receive all that you need to receive. So the ultimate way to manifest is to learn how to receive. The best way to learn how to receive is to chill out and meditate. The best way to meditate is don't try so hard. Because I've spelled it all out with you. It's in the architecture. It's already there for you. And now you kind of know the how, the whys. The how is automatic. I need to just sit still. I mean, obviously you're going to move a little, but you need to be relaxed.